And then he shows up in my dream as a grown man. And then I didn't know what the dream meant at the time that I had got at. And I really, as I look back at it now, I was like, well, what was the reason for me getting that dream anyway? Because if if I threw the basketball up and the transference was made, I want to talk about uh, Kobe Bryant and my role in all of this, the Kobe Bryant situation, and my role and Oprah and Joyce Myers and Billy Graham. But first, I want to talk about Kobe Bryant. I'm just going to say, I just want to say that with Kobe Bryant is that in 1978 I had threw the basketball up and I think that there was a transference into Kobe Bryant's life and Kobe Bryant became a basketball player and he entered into the NBA. Now, and I have a dream about Kobe Bryant afterwards, after he enters into the NBA, and at this point he's a grown man because again when I threw the basketball up, let me just say this: Kobe Bryant was not born yet. Kobe Bryant was born a couple months later, and I believe a transference was made at the point of me throwing the basketball up. I threw the basketball up past half court, and it went in. And I think that was kind of special, unique, because I didn't make baskets like that. And and then Kobe Bryant is born a couple months later, and then he grows up, and he enters into the NBA, and then he shows up in my dream as a grown man. And then I didn't know what the dream meant at the time that I had got at. And I really, as I look back at it now, I was like, well, what was the reason for me getting that dream anyway? Because if 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 I threw the basketball up and the transference was made, then and he enters into the NBA, then that's a done deal. I mean, like, why did I get a dream about it? I think in one way it was a way to tell me that that the person that was born in 1978 was Kobe Bryant. I think the other reason was that I did not know what the dream was really actually trying to tell me at the time that I got it. I really didn't know what it was trying to tell me when I got it. I just knew that he was not playing basketball. He wasn't in interview. Um, so it was just a plain picture there. And I was like, and I just kept staring at it, and I'm like, I don't know what it's trying to say. And so I just, you know, not, I didn't forget about it, but I just didn't understand it. But as I look back at it now, I think that um, uh, um, well, as I look at back at it now, I think that that was the dream. Part of it was told me that the person that was born in 1978 was Kobe Bryant. The other part was that it was trying to tell me that something up ahead was going to happen to Kobe Bryant. And so, since I didn't understand the dream, then only thing I could look at is what will happen in the future in his real life situation that can tell me what the dream was really trying to say. Um, so, um, so I had another dream, and it was African American male who's famous for sexual assault. And I was like, I don't know who that is, you know. I don't know who that is. It doesn't show me on the TV. It doesn't show me who the person. The TV was sideways, so I couldn't see the front of that. So I just heard the voice of that, and it said African American male who's famous for sexual assault. And the dream, this was another dream, and I was like, I don't know who that is, and I don't want to speculate, and I don't want to, so I was like, I don't know who it is, and I put that dream up on the shelf, until Kobe Bryant in the real life comes up for sexual assault. I was like, hey, you know um I, you know he must be the one, like that. And that was an accident, mistake, accident, whatever. Because just because he ends up coming up for sexual assault doesn't mean, even though he was the first one and the only one that was up for sexual assault at that time, doesn't mean I had to choose him. But I did. But I did. But little did I know that Bill Cosby was down the road for sexual assault. But since I had chosen Kobe, and when Bill Cosby came up, I realized that it was Bill Cosby who the dream was actually about. And I tried to go back and change it from Kobe to Bill Cosby. But the accident was already made. The choice was already made with Kobe Bryant. And I could not change it. Um, so after that, um, then because of the accident, it being an accidental identity, even though Bill Cosby and Kobe fitted what the dream said, Kobe Bryant only fitted part of the dream. Bill Cosby fitted the whole dream. And I did not know to look at dreams at that time like that. I just went with African American male who's famous for sexual assault, like that. And I just went with just that part. I didn't go with the other part of the dream. I just went with that part. And that was a mistake as well. But uh, Kobe fit half the dream. Bill Cosby fit the whole dream. And of course that was a mistake of or accident choosing Kobe Bryant. And you know, and then years later, Kobe Bryant ends up in an accident. And I'm looked at that as, you know, that was it a premonition that I know that he was going to be in an accident, even though I made the accidental identity between him and Cosby? No, but that's what happened. Did I know he was going to be born when I threw the basketball up? No, but that's what happened. Did I know that I was going to dream about Kobe Bryant? No, but that's what happened. And let me just cut to the fucking chase. Before I had threw the ball up in the gym, I played a little basketball, not much, not much, just a little. And that day I was in the gym. I think that um, I don't know, for some reason, um, I'm gonna go with God, because I think God knew that there was a little interest there in myself with basketball, Um, but I don't think that I wanted to I wanted to play that in a long term way. I did not want to do that. That was just something um, just to do. It wasn't something that I felt that I wanted to do for a long period of time, and that was not my interest like that. It was just a couple times I played basketball, and that day that I was in the gym, I don't know if God wanted. I, I think that at that point when I threw the basketball up, that was uh, God's way of transferring it to Kobe Bryant, and um and to show, like, okay, if you're not going to do it, then I'm gonna show you who will. And he used me to transfer it to Kobe. And Kobe ended up being born. I mean, because Kobe wasn't actually born yet, but he was right down the road, because a couple months later Kobe was born. And Kobe grows up playing basketball, and he enters into the NBA. And after, it's amazing that he chose he waited till Kobe Bryant got into the NBA, and then he throws me that dream of Kobe Bryant like that. And here is where it goes wrong. You know, once he threw me the damn dream. Here's where it goes wrong, because again, I did not know what the dream was actually saying, but I said that um, that um, whatever it is trying to say, I don't know what it's trying to say, but the only way to really look at it is to look into Kobe Bryant's real life, his real life, not a dream. Even though this is a dream that I got, I want to see, since I don't know what the dream is actually saying, I wanted to look into Kobe Bryant's real life, his personal life, not his professional, but his personal life, and maybe that can tell me what the dream is actually about. So, so at this point, so I said, okay. So time goes on, and Kobe Bryant's come up for sexual assault, and I'm like, okay, and I was like, wait a minute, before he ends up for sexual assault, I get the dream about African American male being up for sexual assault. So when Kobe came up, I was like, well, it must be Kobe. But that was a mistake or an accident that I made at that point. And you, you know uh, just choosing Kobe because he was the first one, he was the only one that was up for sexual assault. I should not have done that, and therefore that was an accident. Because just because Kobe Bryant, um, just because I have a dream that say African American male who's famous for sexual assault, I didn't have to pick Kobe Bryant because he was the first one that came up with sexual assault. Just because he was the first one didn't mean that I had to pick him, but I did. And I should have waited because Bill Cosby was right down the road being up for sexual assault. And that was an accident when I chose Kobe Bryant. But I think that um, God knew that I was going to make that fucking accidental identity thing on Kobe Bryant. When he sent me that damn dream. Because it seemed like it started to go downhill after that. It seemed to go downhill where it was okay when he was when I threw up the basketball, and then he playing basketball as a young kid, this, that, and the other, and then he enters in the NBA. All that is fair, all fine and dandy. But when I get that fucking dream, and then he comes up for sexual assault, and he's the only one that comes up for sexual assault, and I told him, and God knew it. And God knew that I was going to make the fucking mistake with Kobe Bryant when it came to him or Bill Cosby. God knew that I was going to make the fucking mistake or accident with Kobe Bryant. And then Kobe Bryant ends up in a fucking accident. And he fucking dies. Like that. And I think that, I think because he knew that the fuck I didn't do it in the fucking beginning, and transferring it to Kobe, and then making me the fuck had to pay for that shit later on. If God knew that there was an interest there on my part, well, since you're not going to fucking do it, I'm gonna choose someone that will do it, and I'm gonna make you the fuck responsible for it, based on the accidental identity thing. And he dies. Since you're not going to play the fucking basketball, I'm gonna transfer that and show you what it looks like, and I'm gonna make you feel guilty about what you did to him later on. I'm gonna make you the fuck feel guilty about what you fuck you did to him later on. like that, like that. And they made me feel guilty because I did not want to pursue that. Since you're not going to do it, I'm going to use you to transfer it to him. And then let him grow up. He enters the NBA. Now here is where you're going to make the fucking accidental identity, and you're going to feel guilty about what the fuck you did to him. Because he's going to die. Based on that fucking accidental identity you did on him. Like that. And rub it in my fucking face. And always have to be reminded because he's a fucking star. And every time I would see him for here on out on TV or remembrance of him, it's like rubbing it all in my face based on what happened with the accidental identity, and Kobe Bryant is dead. All because you and it was turned around in my fucking face. Well, since you're not going to do it, I'm going to use Kobe Bryant to do it, and I'm going to show you what going into playing basketball and going to into the NBA, and then I'm going to make you responsible for that, because what you get ready to fucking do is make the accidental identity on him, and I'm going to make you feel guilty because you chose the accidental identity on him. Remember? And he ends up in a fucking accident and he dies. Now you feel the guilt. Like that. You feel the guilt. Since you didn't want to do it, I'm going to have somebody take your fucking place. And then, after he takes your place, after he's entered that NBA, then I'm going to make you feel guilty about what you get ready to do to him. Which is kill him. You know, like that. Like that. You know? And God knew that I would, once he sent me that fucking dream, God knew that I was going to make the fucking accidental identity on Kobe. God knew that. You know, if this was all this exceptional reference or passed down the basketball to Kobe Bryant and all that is fine and dandy when he goes, when I pass it off on to him, and then he goes, and then he grows up and goes into the fucking NBA. All that is fine and dandy. But I'm going to make you feel guilty about not going to do it by killing him. By making that accidental identity thing on him. And then he's going to die of that. From that. And I'm going to make you feel guilty by not doing what you were supposed to do from the beginning. Like that. Because if you had went on with the NBA basketball, I wouldn't have had to use Kobe Bryant. God, if you had went on and went into do the basketball yourself, I wouldn't. God, wouldn't have to use Kobe Bryant. If you had done what you were supposed to do, he wouldn't have to use Kobe Bryant. And I think that's what God was trying to rub it on my face. So every time I would see Kobe Bryant here on out, or on documentaries or remembrance or whatever, to rub it all in my face. And because Kobe Bryant is a superstar and all this whole stuff, why not rub it in my face? Like that. Because I made the accidental identity thing on him. And Kobe Bryant ended up dying, in accident and stuff like that. And so, because, I'm gonna, I think God made me responsible for that. Because he knew that, let's look at it. He knew that once I threw the basketball up and Kobe Bryant was born, and the basketball was passed down to him, and like that, and then Kobe Bryant enters into the NBA. Now God knows all of this, and then when he sends the dream, he knows that I'm getting ready to make a mistake with Kobe Bryant. He knows that I'm going to make the accidental identity between him and Bill Cosby. He knows that I'm getting ready to make this mistake or accidental identity thing. He knows that I'm getting ready to do this. And then Kobe Bryant dies in an accident. And to make me feel guilty about it. Well, if you should have done what you was supposed to do anyway, I wouldn't have to use Kobe Bryant. That's what I think God is saying to me. He wouldn't have to take your place. Because, again, the basketball thing started with me. Because I didn't want to pursue it. Well, since you're not going to pursue it, I'm going to get someone else to pursue it. And I want you to see what it looks like. And when he grows up and into that NBA, I'm going to send you a damn dream. And on top of it, I know you're getting ready to make one of those terrible mistakes on him. And therefore, Kobe Bryant dies. And to make me feel guilty, and every time I see from here on out the guilt. Whether it's a remembrance of Kobe, how they do those type shows, or whenever I see them, because there are times when I run into, they would show a special thing on Kobe. Like that. You know, part of me think it went that way because it, uh, let's cut to the fucking chase. God knew that I was gonna make that fucking mistake with Kobe Bryant. He knew I was gonna do that. If God knows all and sees all, He knows that I was gonna make that fucking mistake with Kobe. You know, not only that I threw the basketball up, he's born that year, and then I have a dream about his ass, and then I make the mistaken identity on his ass, and making me feel guilty because Kobe Bryant dies in an accident. You know, like that. And part of me think that if you had done what you were supposed to do, he wouldn't have had to use Kobe. You know, like that. If you would have stepped up and played the basketball yourself, he wouldn't have had to use Kobe. You would have just followed the plan. But no, no, no. I'm gonna use you to transfer it to him. And then he's gonna grow up and goes into the NBA. And then I'm gonna send you a fucking dream of him. And then you're gonna make that fucking mistake. And then you're going to kill him. That's how I think it went. On one hand, I think that's exactly how it went. On the other hand, I think that that God used him as, you know, if I didn't play it, then it was transferred to Kobe, and then you know he enters in the NBA. But my thing, I think the first thing that I just said, it went that way because why would God? Why? Well, because God knew that I was going to make a mistake on Kobe Bryant, and I could see it if it all went well, but it did not. I could see if all of it had went well, I could see that maybe something positive came out of it, and everything, it was all hunky dory. But when that dream came, it seemed like it went all downhill after that. When it comes to me and my and me making an accidental identity on Kobe after the dream, and then Kobe years later, Kobe Bryant dies in an accident, and I think that's where it was at. That's the one that I think that and God rubbing it all in my face because I did not pursue basketball, and and because Kobe Bryant is a superstar, television will never ever let me forget it. Television will never ever let me forget what I did to Kobe Bryant because they're gonna be showing him every now and then or whenever, like that. That's where I think it is the one that really happened. I don't think it happened where, okay, Kobe Bryant, I threw the ball up, Kobe Bryant became a basketball player, and then he enters the NBA, and that was it. No, that's not all what happened. There was more. And so therefore the first analogy is that once I threw the basketball up, well, once I didn't want to play basketball, and God said, okay, you're not going to play it. I'm going to use you to transfer into his life. And then he's going to grow up playing basketball. Then he's going to enter into the NBA. And then I'm going to dish you that damn dream. And therefore, after that dream, you're going to make that accidental identity on him. And then he's going to die. And I'm going to make you feel guilty because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. And if you had did what you were supposed to do, he wouldn't have to use Kobe Bryant. Right there. And to make and put the cherry on top, I gotta see Kobe Bryant on TV or wherever. You search the internet, you can't help from running into him, especially on NBA, ESPN, or whatever. They're always showing a piece on him. And to make me feel guilty about not doing the basketball thing in the beginning. Right there. Well, let's get to number 2. Miss Oprah Winfrey. When I look at Oprah Winfrey, like when I first got, and something told me in a way, because I knew that God knew that there was an interest as far as basketball in me, you know, so I kind of knew that he had set me up with Oprah as well. Because let me just say this: before I had seen Oprah um, doing the news, before I seen her doing the news, there was a couple of other black women that I saw who did um, who was anchor women that did the news, and there was some interest there, but I didn't pursue that either. I mean, like I just didn't go with it, you know. I mean, there was some interest there, but you know, I was like, no, I didn't do it, you know. After a while, I didn't want to do it, and so when that day when I was in a specific town, um, I had I walked in the room and I was like, I'm gonna turn on the news so I can hear some news real quick, and then I'm gonna leave out the room. I mean, I'm gonna leave, you know. So I end up turning the TV on, and there was this black woman doing the news, and I was like, you know, I didn't know who she was or nothing. I just turned it on, and this was this black woman on there. And uh, and so I heard it for about 1 or 2 minutes, and then I left out the room. And um, years later, about 3 or 4 years later, Oprah Winfrey. Little did I know that the woman doing the news, that was Oprah Winfrey. But I did not know that that was her. I mean, I didn't even know Oprah because Oprah wasn't famous yet. And so I didn't even know who she was or whatever. I just turned it on and just wanted to hear some news. That was it. But little did I know that that was Oprah Winfrey. And so when Oprah gets her show, that about 3 or 4 years later, at some point, I was watching Oprah one day, and she began to show video of when she did the news, and I was like, "Hey, that's the girl I saw on TV." When I walked in the room that day and seen a black woman doing the news, that was Oprah, because I remember how Oprah looked when I seen her on the news. I remember she had this big bush, and she was sitting there doing the news, and I knew, you know, that was, but because Oprah, when Oprah Winfrey got her TV show, she looked different. She didn't have that big bush, and Oprah was bigger than the girl that I saw on the news. Oprah, when she got the Oprah Winfrey show, Oprah was bigger and she looked different. And so I really, I really didn't pay Oprah really no attention, when it came to the girl I saw on the news. I didn't think that she was Oprah not at the time. I didn't even get the news lady name. So I really didn't know about Oprah then. But when Oprah began to show, when she got the Oprah Winfrey show, she began to show when she did the news. And I was like, hey, that's her. That's the girl I saw on the news when I turned that TV on that day. Um, so what happened was this. God knew, God knew that there was some interest in me when it came to being a news anchor woman, right? Soon I turned the TV on, there's a black woman doing the news anchor woman. Like, like that. And that woman was Oprah Winfrey. And at the time when I did it, when I turned the news on with Oprah Winfrey on, I don't even think it was there. And, I think it was like part of still in me, but it was not something that I wanted to do at that time. It was not something I wanted to do at that time. I think it had gone away, so to speak. I didn't wanted to pursue it or whatever. And I think when I see I think seeing Oprah, on there, she wasn't the first black woman I seen doing this. I mean, I think it was something that was different. I mean, she just wasn't the first one that I saw, but I think that it wasn't a lot of black women doing it, not at that time. It was some black women, but not a lot. But here's where I'm gonna cut to the fucking chase. Because I didn't want to pursue that. Well, I'm gonna get somebody who will. And I'm gonna use you to transfer that. And part of me think that um, that because I did not want to do that, it was like, well, since you're not going to do it, I'm going to get somebody that will. And she's going to be it's going to be another superstar, Miss Oprah Winfrey. I'm going to show you what it looks like. And rubbing it all in my face. And every time I see her fucking ass, I gotta always be reminded of that. Like, be reminded of what I did not do. Through these fucking stars. Like, through these stars, I'm going to remind you what you did not do. And he uses them to punish me. Like, you know, like, to punish me, like. And to use them to punish me, like. You know, like, okay, you don't want to do it? I'm going to get somebody that will. And I'm going to use you to do the transfer. And make you feel guilty for not doing that. Make you feel guilty for not doing what you started out to do. Or what you wanted to do. And I'm going to make Oprah Winfrey shine like a light. So you can see what you missed. You know, like that. And make me feel guilty by not doing that. I'm going to make Oprah Winfrey shine so bright, like a light. So you can see what you missed. Yeah, like that. And rub it in my face every time I see it. See, the reason, again, he will never ever make me forget. Because I'm going to always see her on TV, somewhere, some way, internet, TV, you name it, radio, whatever. So she will never leave you. Nor will Kobe Bryant. You know, like that. Joyce Myers and Billy Graham. In some ways, I think that it was the same one. You know? But it's like a rubbing in the face. You didn't do what you know. Well, I'm gonna make you feel guilty. You know, like that. And it was like, since you didn't do what you were supposed to do, then I'm gonna get somebody else to do it, and I'm gonna make you feel so bad not doing it, And I'm going to get them to rub it all in your face every time you see them. You get my drift? I bet it was like that. Yes, it was. So, all that stuff about, oh, it's hunky dory, Oprah Winfrey, and like part of me like feel like they just stepped in and then took over. Where I left off, they stepped right up and took my place. Like, like that. Did they live my life for me? In a way, you know, you could look at it like that. But again, I think God used those two, and I'm quite sure Billy Graham and Joyce probably was in the mix of it. But those two, Oprah and Kobe Bryant, I can see it just as clear. Like he used the both of them to show me, uh, you know, uh, that if I doesn't do it, someone else will. Like, step in where you left off at, and I'm gonna get somebody to step in to take over. Like, live my life for me. Like that. And to rub it all in my face. You know, like it was all funky. It was all hunky dory. When I was looking at her TV programs and all this little, stuff. Which and I'm not gonna knock her for that because I think some of her TV programs is all right. But as I really, really look at it, I think that's what God did, man. He stepped right in, man, and just took over my life. What I didn't do, where I left off at, she stepped right in and took over, and make me feel guilty. And I think he made me feel guilty by not doing that, by using them. And he used, what's ironic is that he used both of those things, both of those people, where my interests were. Because my interest is, one of my interests is in basketball. Another was doing the news anchor. And he used Kobe Bryant when it came to the basketball, and he used Oprah Winfrey when it came to being a news anchor. Like that. So I knew that he used them to crucify my damn flesh. Like that. Because I didn't step up and do what I was, what my interests was, or whatever. Well. Since you're not going to do it, I'm gonna get someone else to do it. Like that. And you got Mr. Kobe Bryant and Oprah Winfrey to step in and take over my life. Like, since you're not going to do it, I'm gonna get somebody else to do it. and you're going to do the transference. Like that. And he used me to throw the basketball with Kobe Bryant. He knew I was not going to pursue that. But he used me in that gym to throw up that basketball to do the damn transference. He knew that I was not going to be a news anchor. But just so happens, when I go in that room and turn that TV on, guess who's on there? Oprah Winfrey. Doing the news. Like that. And at that point, it was a transference being made. Like that. And look at Oprah Winfrey life. Like, I'm gonna show you what you missed. Like, in Oprah Winfrey. In Oprah Winfrey life, this is what you missed. Had you pursued it, look at Oprah Winfrey life. This is what you missed. And the Kobe Bryant life, he grows up going into the NBA. You could have done that. No, but you just, well, since you're not going to do it, I'm going to get somebody else to do it. And you are going to do the transference. So what did he do? He made me throw that damn basketball up and transferred it into Kobe Bryant's life. And Kobe Bryant goes up as a kid and teenager and all this stuff and goes right into the NBA. You know? Since you're not going to do that, I'm going to get somebody else there with. But you are going to do the transferring. And he picked stars to do that. So they can rub it in my face. As long as there's TV and sports and Oprah Winfrey. Rub in my face all the time. So you will never ever forget that. Shit like that. And that's how I believe exactly how it happened. Although I still like basketball, but I like other people playing it. Although I don't have anything against Oprah, but hey, I sure don't like it rubbing in my face all the time. I have nothing against Oprah, but hey, I don't want it rubbed in my face every time I see her. Or be reminded. You know? So, all I gotta say is this. I don't. In some ways, um, I, I think what God really wanted me to take a look at is um, not to rush to judgment, not to rush to not judgment, but making quick decisions. And and I think that I think with Kobe especially, it was not to make a quick decision on how you see people, um, make quick decisions, and stuff like that, unless you have all the facts and stuff like that. But I think that the career thing, or whether, I don't know whether I was gonna make it a career in basketball or anything like that, or even a news anchor woman. But I think that maybe I should have given it some thought and just studied, um, just be, have a few moments of, hey, I want to be a news anchor woman. Maybe I want to be a basketball player. And stuff like that, and you know, get a little feeling of it, and then I say, I don't want it. And not really thinking, not really thinking, and just throwing shit aside. Um, oh, well, I'm interested in this. No, I don't think I'm interested in that anymore. Like that. And throwing shit aside. Not really thinking that those decisions could, you know, um, make it bad for me in the future. Like, because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I mean, I did have some interest in news anchor woman, and then that swayed away for a while, and basketball came up, and I don't know, like that, and I, I just didn't. But I think God wanted me to stick to something, you know, and the only thing I stuck with was singing. That's the only thing I stuck with. Like, I mean, like when it came to, um, I mean, of course I got clean, but when it came to that, it was like the only thing I stuck with was singing. Like, I just thought that that was something I could do without a struggle. I could do that without a struggle. I could sing without a struggle. Um, I thought that news anchor, you would have to probably go to school for this, that, and the other. Basketball, I I um I knew I wasn't that good at it. I mean, like, and then you see that there was a lot of tall people, or I mean, not everybody was tall, but I wasn't as good as some players was. And I don't know, maybe I don't know, maybe if I had gave it a chance or something, I I don't know. Maybe if I had gave it some chance, maybe. I don't know. But the only thing I thought that I could do was sing. I mean, I could do some news, and I could, play a little basketball here or there. But it wasn't something I wanted to do for a long time. I wanted to see other people play it. And the news, you don't have to be a news anchor woman to talk the news. You could talk news in your home, on the phone, out on the bus, or out in the streets. You can talk news all day long. You don't have to be sitting up at no desk to talk the news. But the only thing I knew was to sing. I mean, that's what I thought I could do. Like, I could do without a struggle. I mean, again, you had to pay to go to school, to go, do this, do that, and all this stuff. And I didn't have to do any of that when I sang. I didn't have to. I didn't even learn how to sing going to church. It was something that I knew how to do. Like, it was just something I knew how to do without a struggle. Like, like, it was just something I I I did. Like, and whether, I didn't really care if who knew it, who liked it. And some people don't even know I know how to sing because I didn't flaunt it. You know, I didn't flaunt it. And the thing with that is that God, I looked at Joyce, Oprah, Kobe, and Billy Graham. None of them know how to sing. I mean, what I mean is that they didn't sing. And he picked them. I mean, this was, you know, before. There was always singing there for me, but it was just something. Basketball and Anchor Woman was something that was other than the singing, but the singing was always there. Um, but um, you know, but I knew that none of them sang. Kobe, at least in public, they didn't. Kobe didn't sing. Oprah didn't sing. Joyce, I don't think she sang. Well, Billy, I don't think he sang. None of them, none of them sang, but I did. I mean, like, like, you know, you know. But I just what I knew that I could do. I think that again, I think you have to have more than just throwing a fucking basketball up. You have to have more. You have to have skill. Some type of skills and stuff. You gotta really know how the game is played and stuff like that. I know now, but not then. Um, the news anchor woman, I knew you had to go to probably go to some type of college and stuff like that for that. And I didn't really know if I could do that or whatever. And you know, I just thought that, the news was the news and that was it. But it so happened when as soon as I turned that TV on, there was a news anchor woman sitting right there, and that person was Oprah Winfrey. Like, right there. That person was Oprah Winfrey. And she, um, and I think God rubbed it in my face with her, man. I think God rubbed it in my face with Kobe. I think He rubbed it in my face with um, Oprah. You know, and especially those two, because I'm not sure about the preaching thing with Joyce and Billy, but I think with Oprah and Kobe, I think that because they were the two that I did have some interest in, and he sure enough chose those two. Um, like that. He sure enough chose those two to punish me. I think in the beginning, I don't think the punishment was there in the beginning. But as I look at it, I think they sort of like punished me. Like when I look at the big picture of it, I think they punished me. I mean, based on what they did, and what I did not do. I think they punished me based on what their careers were, but when I look at them, it was like a punishment based on what I did not do. Like, I mean, they did not punish me, you know, but as I look at their work, it when I look at their work, it sort of like a punishment to me because it let me know what I did not do when it came to basketball, when it came to the news anchor woman, Oprah. I don't think Kobe or Oprah punished me. I said when I look at their work, it punished me because it lets me know what I did not do. When it came, if I wanted to, if I had interest in those two things, it let me know what I didn't do. And that's why their work punished me. Because God used them. Okay, you're not going to do it? I'm going to get two people that will. Kobe and Oprah. Like that. And then with Oprah, oh, jeez. It extended. Like, look at what she became afterwards. Like that. And look how big she became. All to rub it in my face. And make me never ever forget her. Or Kobe. Like that. It lets me know what I did not do. It's like they stepped in and took over my life. Like that. like that. And all I could do is look at it, and a part of me feel ashamed, and a part of me like, well, I can't cry over spilt milk. Yeah, I can't cry over spilt milk. I can't go back and change it. You know, I don't hate Oprah. I don't hate Kobe. I just think that, I just didn't make good decisions. And then what makes it, uh, the singing, the singing. Let me talk about that. Um, I was when I started singing, when I got clean, and I started singing again. I knew I couldn't sing, based on using drugs and all that stuff. But when I got clean, um, I went, I started singing again, and I mean, I really start singing. I sung more than I ever did, and um, I noticed that when I started singing again, they had all these talent shows out and stuff like that, and I seen how the talent shows were going, and I don't think that they were uh, going. I don't think that talent shows are for that's for making money. They more out for making money. Then that's their first thing to do. Those I'm talking about the talent shows on TV. They're out to make money. That's their number one goal. And um when they were doing the talent shows, um and they had people calling in, like watching TV, pushing buttons and dialing in and see who the contestants were, who you want to pick by pushing buttons. And I think that the talent shows on TV that got the public involved, the people at home watching TV, pushing buttons and choosing the who they like the best and all that. I was like, that was a bad idea. I thought that was a bad idea. Because um, a lot of times the public doesn't even know what to look for when they choose it. And I thought, that singer that's up there singing, you put that person in jeopardy, so to speak, because you got people at home, pushing buttons to determine that person's fate. that's on the stage. I was like, man, I was like, these talent shows is something else, man. I really did think the public should be choosing. I thought, like Star Search, they will bring people in, and people from the industry, people who's in the music industry, who's singing, who are singers and stuff like that, can judge the talent and stuff. But they have people at home picking, man. And it's like determining people's fate, man. I'm like, oh no, man. I don't think. And then you see some of these talent shows, man, and how they were choosing people, and people were getting sent home who could sing, and other ones it was based on what they had on, how their hair was, how their clothes were. I was like, man, these talent shows, man. You know what? I just thought I stopped watching the talent shows on TV. I just like to watch the auditions, and that was it. I didn't go with the talent shows on TV anymore because I really again their number one goal was to make money, and then if you do win, you were signed to their label because whoever owns that show probably has a record company, and whoever wins that talent show was signed with their record company and stuff like that, and that's how you do it. And and the talent shows were rigged. Well, you gotta sing this song, you gotta sing that song. This person's week, like they would do a singer week. Well, you'll sing all this person's songs this week. Then you'll sing this other person's song next week. Shit like that. I mean, and probably songs that you don't even want to sing, and stuff like that. But I thought the talent shows were rigged, and stuff like that. And I was like, I don't want no parts of it. But I still wanted to sing, and stuff like that. But I not on talent shows on TV. But again, I felt that I was getting too older. I was in my 30s, 40s, like that, and I thought that I was too old, like um to get into the singing. I mean, get into even I'm talking about to like to get a record deal or anything like that because I realized that they really was looking for young people. They weren't really looking for older people. They were more looking for younger people. And so that's where it is. And that's how that business is run, even with the record companies. And that's where it is. But I noticed that a lot of people that I liked it who were singers, they started to die. And I noticed that every time there were times when I sang, and other times I just don't want to sing. And I noticed that every time I would stop singing, a singer would die. And I was like, what's that all about? Because I know that my favorites were starting to die. And my favorites were starting to die. And I was like, wait a minute. my, my favorite singers was dying, man. But I still like to sing, but I don't know. But again, all the way around, man. Even though my finger was dying and all this sort of stuff, but I still like to sing stuff. But I just think it's just different, and yeah, I think it's just different. The time is different. The time in the music industry is different. It's different. And again, I think they more so looking for young people, and that's all fine and dandy and all that stuff. And the one thing that I can do, I can always sing whenever I want, whatever, and I can sing whatever I want. I ain't got to be say you can't sing this, you can't sing that, you got to do this, you got to do that, and all this sort of stuff. And I can sing whatever I want. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. I'm going to let the record company tell me what I can sing, what, all this old bull crappy stuff. No, I'm going to sing whenever I want. I don't want to be tied down to just R&B. I want to sing gospel, R&B, country, jazz, blues, R&B, gospel. I don't be tied down to just one thing. But they always say, well, what are you? I mean, like, are you an R&B singer or country, blues, jazz? What are you? I say all the above. Like that. Because I don't want them to tie me down just to one thing, man. But that's what they try to do. They try to tie you down to one thing, man. I don't want to be tied down. Like that. To one thing. To one kind of music. I don't want to be tied down to one kind of music. I want to do it all. So, but I still like to sing no matter what. I don't sing in apartments because I don't want people to. I don't want to. Because some people, I don't want to sing in apartments because some people might not want to hear me sing. Some people may want to hear me sing, some may not. So I don't. I just take away. I just don't sing at all in the apartment. So I hum sing, but I don't sing regular because I don't want people. I don't want to. Some people may not want. Even if I know how to sing, some people still may not want to hear me sing. So instead of just you know, I don't want to. Um, People want peace and probably want peace in their apartments and stuff like that, and that's understandable. That's understandable. So I don't always have to sing. I go outdoors to sing. Like that. I don't have to sing in the apartment. But you know, but I just needed to say that with Oprah and stuff, and 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 and, um, and let me just say with Kobe Bryant, I am I never planned out to do anything to Kobe Bryant because I really didn't know Kobe Bryant like that, and I wouldn't want to do that to him just to be doing that. I think it was an accident, but and he turns out to be an accident. And again, I think it was a premonition more than me just trying to kill him and all that so crazy crap stuff. And that was never my intention, you know. But 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 I think that if God did not want him to leave or whatever, he could have intercepted and said, you know, um, Kobe could have lived that crash, but he did not. You know, um, I wish that he would have survived, and all those people survived that crash. But it did not. You know, but but I just want um, um, I just know that I I never intend to hurt anyone. You know, never. And you know, and that I again I think that God used Kobe to show me. But I think that to show me what I missed, show me that um, that I could what I could have done, and that I think that Kobe um, and that even though Kobe life has ended, I think it still let me know that not to make quick decisions. And I think that's one of the lessons that God that through this, um, not to make quick decisions when it comes to anything. Um, you know, um, make sure you have the facts, or make decisions about careers or whatever. Whatever. Not to make quick decisions. I think, and that's the lessons that I learned. Also, it taught me not to, based on dreams, not to get the identities mixed up. I mean, like, if the identity is hidden in the dream, do not get it mixed up with someone else. You better make sure that person is that person. And I think that's what it let me know. Um, because you know, it can turn around and 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 make you feel guilty. So you better make sure that person is the person. Um, like that. But I think again, not to make quick decisions, and make sure you have all the facts before. Even with career decisions, I think I made snap decisions when it came to um, leaving basketball and anchor woman alone. I think I made a quick decision not to do it. Like, and God showed me right through Kobe and Oprah about those quick decisions. And I have to look at both of them based on those quick decisions. Like that. Yeah. But you gotta learn some type of way. But hey, but I'm kind of glad. I don't hate Oprah. I don't hate Kobe or anything like that. No, you know. But I know that I should have given it some thought. Before I had before I had um, and through the anchor being an anchor woman in the trash. I do being a basketball playing basketball. Do it in trash. I mean, I didn't completely throw it in trash. I just like to see other people play. I just didn't want to play. I just didn't want to play anymore. I wanted to watch it being played. I mean, because my interest was, I mean, like, I didn't have interest in playing it, but I had interest in watching it. I shifted it from playing it, watching it. I mean, watching other people play it. Instead of me playing it, I shifted and said I watch other people play it. It was just like shifted, just like Oprah. Instead of me being an anchor woman, I watched Oprah do the news and whatever. I shifted that. Like, instead of me doing it, I let somebody else do it. Like, do I feel ashamed about it? In a sense, yes. As I look back at it now, yeah. Do I feel ashamed about it? Yeah. Because my life probably would have been different. But I can't cry over spilt milk. I can't go back and change it. That's all I got to say. I can't go, you know. But I do think that they got used those stars to rub it in my face. Mm. I think and I would never ever forget Oprah. I would never ever forget Kobe. That's all I have to say.